taxpayers, you're back with MrTaxes.ca with special guests and our special co-host. Make sure and tune in weekly Wednesday mornings, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon Central. Remember to subscribe and remember to smash, bash, and kick it in the you-know-what with that like button if you want more videos like this. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, Affiliate Nation. Welcome to the Dollar Tax Club affiliate webinar. Jesse, are you live?
I am live. I'm here.
Live or alive? I guess you had a big party down there in Mexico.
It's always a party in Mexico.
Well, welcome everybody to our 2022 version of the Dollar Tax Club affiliate webinar, where we're the side hustle for your side hustle. I guess we have a special guest on today, Jennifer Bolduc. We'll get to your introduction a little bit in a few minutes. Jennifer, we go through some formalities at the beginning of all these webinars. But how was New Year's for you, Jesse?
It was really good. Actually, first time I ever spent New Year's watching fireworks from the beach. So that was fun and interesting.
Well, you made it through New Year's. And where are you exactly?
Playa del Carmen in Mexico. Moved the family down here for the winter just because why not?
Where did you move from?
Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where it's freezing cold.
Freezing cold. And Jennifer, just real quick, because we'll get to your full introduction in a few minutes, but just to introduce you to our guests. Each week we have a special guest on, so you're the inaugural guest for 2022. And we met on one of your webinars, a little training session you had
just a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, well, thank you for having me here. I don't know what's going on with my background. I was trying to put on one of those fancy backgrounds, but we'll just roll with it.
It is pretty fancy.
It does feel quite fancy. My New Year's is pretty quiet here. I'm here in Port Moody, Vancouver, Canada area. We actually had snow, which is pretty magical out here this time of the year, but pretty low key.
Pretty low key. Awesome. So our webinar series, Jesse helped us finish out 2021. We had a few trial runs with Jesse, but we're going to kick this off in the new year with a special guest every week. This week's special guest is Jennifer Kolbuc from Port Moody, you said?
Yes, Port Moody, just outside Vancouver.
Awesome. So that's the west or wet coast of BC. We're hit with snow here right now, just to ruin the evergreen experience, but we are in January. We got a week of snow. For affiliates around the globe, though, a lot of you enjoying nicer weather. That includes you, Jesse. I say that with a grain of salt. Okay, let me just check here. We have a few technical items to take care of. Let's see if we can move the screen. There we are, up in the top corner. We'll make our images maybe a little smaller so we can see the introduction. So our agenda every week on these webinars, we talk about what you're going to learn. So you're going to learn some marketing things from Jennifer. Just a little quick intro on what you're going to be showing our listeners today.
We are going to be talking about content planning surrounding you using social media to promote your services and offers. I'm going to give you a content calendar that you can walk away with to start setting up your 2022 planning.
Awesome. And no better time to do it than at the beginning of the year. A little bit about our company. We are first and foremost a tax company, but we do have an insurance, investment, and mortgage referral division. So we work in all aspects of financial planning. Our trademark dates back to 1984. So if you do the math, that's right when I finished high school. Got into the business a little bit, but then went into the trades. I never thought of it as a business that you can make a living from. A lot like marketing, affiliate marketing, or marketing in general, social media marketing, web content, whatever it is, you can make a full-time career out of that. And that's what Jesse does. So you'll hear a little bit about Jesse's company here in a bit. We grew our business in a 6-year period to 42 offices with over 350 staff. Sold that company in 2015, had a 3-year non-compete. So we relaunched in late 2018 and got on the membership board of the Canadian Franchise Association. So now we are officially franchising. We have our first 3 franchises awarded in 2021, and our goal is to award 10 more in 2022. So that's where we're at. And Jesse's, I think, going to share his screen.
Yeah, I am
He's a tech guy on the team, so if Jesse can't get it done, nobody can.
Trying to. I've never done this on Webinar Jam. Okay, can you see?
We'll just make sure that Paige doesn't cut out your slides for next week's webinar.
It's all good. Can you see that now?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, my name is Jesse. I've been in this online, offline entrepreneur space since 2016. Some people consider me a digital marketing mogul. I just consider myself Jesse. Branding expert. I help a lot of different people build their brands, build their visions, help them with creating content and just putting their vision into turning their vision into reality. I've been #1 in sales for 3 different global companies that I've ever promoted. I've built and led teams of thousands of people. I've been doing this all full-time online since 2016, which is really cool because that's what allows me to travel, move my family to Mexico for the winter if I choose to, because I'm not tied down to really anything. I've built many different training courses and right now have a full-on educational system helping entrepreneurs turn their visions into reality, ignite their passions, turn it into profits. I do a lot of coaching and consulting, one-on-one as well as group settings. And my latest project, I'm the co-founder with my business partner, Mike, of Next Level Vision Incorporated, which is where we host all of our education. That's where we do all of our coaching and consulting. And yeah, just really, really exciting stuff. If you want to check us out, go to nextlevelcommunity.com, nxtlvlcommunity.com. And that's it for me right now.
Let's get our slides back up so we can get this show on the road. There we go.
We're back.
There we go. So quote of the week. So freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose, Janis Joplin. So these quotes that we bring up every week is just a little bit of motivation. But with everything that's going on in the world, I thought this was a very suitable quote. But Janis Joplin had it right there in the 60s, late 50s, 60s, into the 70s, doing her thing, doing it her own way. And that's the way women should be doing it. I believe that's what Jennifer is doing. So Jennifer, here you go. Give yourself an intro, and then when you're ready to get your slides up after your intro, toot your horn, and then we'll roll into your content there for about the next 25 to 30 minutes, and then we'll have a recap with Jesse and myself. Our team might jump into the chat area, and then we'll get the Q&A.
Perfect.
So take it away.
Okay, great. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
Awesome. So I am a social media consultant, and I've been working in social media for, gosh, I feel like since the beginning of social media that you could work in. It's been well over a decade now. I think I'm coming up on 13 years. Much of that time in my previous life was spent in the big corporation side of things, working with many large brands, multinational brands, as well as some government agencies here and nonprofits. What I really specialize in today is helping small and medium-sized businesses really put a plan together for their social media, whether that's franchise offices trying to incorporate some branding or businesses who don't even have their branding set up yet and need some direction to go. And when I'm not doing all of those fun things online, like making reels or tweeting, I'm also, responsible for making sure 2 human beings stay alive every day. So I know the value of time and making sure that you're spending that time effectively, which is why I don't want social media to take over your whole life. And of course, you can also invite me to other events like this. I always love to come and speak to other groups of people to help share my knowledge. I'm going to try the screen sharing thing now. So definitely bear with me here a second. I think this is what we want to do here. Okay, now, do you guys see my screen?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, I don't see myself anymore or anyone else. I just see the screen. So
yeah, we can see the screen. I'll just keep the volume on. Any questions, again, just ask for Alicia or her help, and we'll keep it rolling. Thanks again, Jennifer. Everybody's looking forward to hearing your content.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robert. So let's dive into Plan Like a Pro. So we don't need the intro again. So what we're going to cover today, it's kind of a condensed version because I know we want to keep it tight and right to keep you on time. I'm going to talk about why you need to plan content for social media, if maybe you've just been winging it through 2021, but why you really want to get a hold of getting a plan in place. Then we're going to talk about content pillars for your brand and why those are so important to set up. And then finally, I'm actually going to do a live content planning demo with the content calendar itself so you can see exactly how it works. So I always like to start with a quote as well. Glad we're on like the same page here. And so when you're ready to get serious about social media, it's time for a plan. If you're a business who's just starting out, you're kind of getting your feet wet and you're just kind of posting willy-nilly, totally fine to start there. But at some point when you're ready to take your social media to the next level, we do need to have a plan and a strategy in place to be doing it effectively. So why do you need this content calendar that I'm going to share with you? Firstly, because it'll be the home for your plan. It'll define the purpose and the structure for your content, your social media channels. Secondly, it's all about being consistent. Social media is like the beast that never sleeps. While you don't need to be online 24/7, you do need to be posting regularly to your channels to stay top of mind for your customers. Ultimately, working with a plan, once you get it working, actually does help you save time. And I know time saving is top of mind for many small businesses. And finally, by showing up consistently with a structure and with a plan, that's what's going to lead to results in the long term for social media. So now let's just dive into what are content pillars. And this might be totally new for some people. You might be already familiar with this, so just bear with me here. But the content pillars are really the foundation piece for your content plan. Often when I work with clients, I'm like, well, what are your content pillars or what are you posting about? And they have like 8 things or 12 things. And I'm like, that's way too many things. We really want to hone that in and really niche down on very specific niche topics that you're going to talk about. So content pillars help you both stay on brand by telling you what to post about, and they also help you decide what not to post about, what's not going to be a fit for the specific social media channel. They'll help you divide up the different types of content that you need. And I'm going to show you exactly what that is next. And ultimately, they're going to provide the structure and the reason for using social media so we can move your audience from awareness and getting to know you and ultimately to conversion and making that sale or booking that consult with your team. So this is what it looks like in the worksheet, but I'm going to kind of break it down first so you know exactly what we're going to plug in there. Now, not every brand is going to follow exactly this, but this structure typically works for most brands. Sometimes I tweak it depending on the client. The first content pillar, and this will certainly be relevant for Mr. Taxes here and all the tax information we're sharing, is really that FAQ, frequently asked questions and tips content pillar. And this is really where we want to position you, yourself, or your team, or your products as an expert in a certain niche area. So the goal of this type of content is to help your clients understand what you do and that you can reduce their pain points by working with you. So the objective here is just overall awareness and, of course, still some engagement as well. So content you've probably seen on social media are things like 3 tips to make your lipstick last longer, or how to move from a fixed to a growth mindset, or save more money with this one change. But ultimately here, we're answering questions about what you offer and about just knowledge in your general areas that people can go, oh yes, this person, this brand is really an expert in this specific subject area. The second content pillar is the why. This is super important if you're a service provider, whether you're the face of your brand or even if you're a franchisee in a company. You still want people to know, well, why do you care so much about what you do? Why taxes? Why not another element of supporting small businesses? Why is it that you're so passionate about helping small businesses do their taxes efficiently, save money through taxes? That's the type of content we want to have out here because, there's so many providers that people can work with. By showing people your passion for this area, on top of your expertise, this is where people are really going to connect with you. So the objective of this type of content, again, is still going to be engagement, but now we're moving people to the consideration stage. People want to work with other people who are passionate about what they do. And when that comes through online, they're more likely to consider you as someone to work with. So examples of this type of content specifically are things like how I became a business coach, or this could be why I started doing the franchise, why I'm an introverted creative, or of course, celebrating those really important milestones in your business. So this type of content answers things like who you are and why you do what you do. And then finally, yes, sales. You can totally talk about sales on social media. That's not taboo. As you'll see in the next slide, we don't want every post to be about sales, but certainly we want to let people know how to work with you, how to hire you, how to make that first consult with you. So often for service providers, this is the one that's missing. They've got all kinds of knowledge pieces. They've got some tips. They've got some personal stories there, but they don't actually let people know, like, hey, to take that first step with us, you can book a free consult as an example, or you can book a 30-minute tutorial with us. But you do want to let people specifically know how to hire you. So the goal of this one really is then how to order, how to sign up, and ultimately how to get conversions from your social media. When I put that all together in my lovely funnel on the next slide here, it's going to look a little bit like this. So at the very top of our pillar or our funnel here, this is where we really want to, expand our knowledge base. This is where we want to be sharing all of that great knowledge, growing our awareness and really positioning your brand as the expert in this area. This, therefore, is going to make up the majority of the type of the content that you post. So I've said here about 2 to 3 times per week. Not a hard and fast rule, but just trying to give you some timelines to work with. The second content pillar then, sharing that why, going behind the scenes, showing up passionately. This we're going to post about 2 to 4 times per month. So again, a little bit less than the first one, but still certainly showing up, maybe 1 time per week if you were on the higher end of that scale. And then finally, sales. Yes, we absolutely do want sales in there. And this, again, is going to be 2 to 4 times per month. Now, there's some exceptions to sales. If there's a busy time of the year, like let's say tax season, when you're really looking for new business or drumming up awareness during those busy tax periods of the year, absolutely you can have more sales pieces of content during that time because it's a really big time of the year for you and it's really top of mind for people. And then after that busy period of time passed, you probably dial back on the sales for the next month or 2 just so that it doesn't take over your whole feed. So now I'm actually going to go into the live demo of what this looks like. Now, I'm going to share the link with you guys after so that you guys can get this content calendar. So just follow along with me right now, but know that this will be coming your way so that you can have this 2022 version with you. So now I'm just going to change my screen here. There we go. Can everyone still see here? We're still good? Okay, I'm assuming we can still see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it. Sorry.
Awesome. No, perfect. Just want to make sure as I'm toggling between the slides. Now, this is what you'll get as a free content calendar that I've created for all my clients. This is the 2022 version. And when you receive it, it looks exactly like this. The first thing you're going to do before you do anything else, which is crucial, is you're going to make a copy. You'll go File, Make a Copy. This is a Google Sheet, so the access you receive will not be like, you won't have edit access to this because it's the same Google Sheet everybody gets. So you'll just need to make a copy before you can start editing it. And the instructions are right here for you as well. You can also download this. You can print it out if you like old school pen and paper. Do whatever is going to work best for you. The instructions are all here in this first tab as well, but I'll go over this with you live since we're here together. So starting again, right back at content pillars. So this now lines up with exactly what I showed you just on the slides. We've got content pillar number 1, FAQs, content pillar number 2, who you are, sharing your passion, and content pillar number 3, what you sell. So I love using the sheet with clients to really just use it as a brain dump, a place to put any kind of pieces of information in here. So no ideas are bad ideas at this point. This is like a safe space for you to put any possible ideas that you might talk about. Within each of these, you might have some broader topics. So you might have things like, let's say it's the end of fiscal year, and you're probably going to have a whole bunch of tips like how to organize those receipts, how much pre-planning we need to do. Don't mind my spelling here. How long to wait for your return, how early to book in with Mr. Taxes. That kind of goes under sales, but I'll just put it here. You might map out some broader topics and then all of the points that you would cover underneath them. You might do the same thing for early in the year as well, or summer organizing or things like that. So think about this place as any possible topic that you could talk about and try and fill out all 3. Again, we know that content pillar number 1 needs the most topics, so certainly put the most information in there, a little bit less here and a little bit less here. But then as you actually use these topics, you can actually go through and tick them off to stay organized with your content. If you scroll down here, I've got some other examples filled out as well. So I've got myself filled out as an example as a service provider. And then I also have a product-based business filled out here as well. So just in case you forget what to put here, there are some examples in the sheet for you. The next tab then is a 12-month overview. Now, again, this is just a really high-level place I like to look in as what are just the main things we need to talk about each year. We know, as a tax season, I'm always thinking like February. What do we have February? We've got like RSP deadline coming up soon, And then for most people in April, it's going to be tax time, maybe not corporations, but individuals. Tax time is coming up fast, or it's already here. Might be things about in June about processing those returns or payments.
So Jennifer, you sounds like you know an awful lot about tax. We're looking for some good people.
Not enough to do what you do, but could I do content for you? Yes. That's
so quick question. We did have a question came in by text.
Yes.
Are you going to be sharing these spreadsheets?
Yes, absolutely. So yes, if you can add the link, I'll send it to you right after I'm done this demo. Yes, absolutely. You guys, I'll send the link to you and you guys will all have this spreadsheet.
Yeah. So just rest assured, Jennifer will share the link, or we can get Alicia to pop it in there. If you mention what it is, we'll make sure everybody gets a copy.
Perfect. Thank you. Good question. So again, you probably only need to fill this out like once ever, but this is just a really good one to fill out to be like, of course, we just don't want to miss these key milestones. If you're celebrating like 5 years as a franchise owner, as an example, you might want to celebrate that. Maybe there's another, special new thing that kind of happens annually for your business. And then certainly if you have different products or services, maybe you have like, let's say we have like a free webinar, a reminder for people to attend. And you might have that every month. You might just have one post about that every month for people to attend. You might have other services or products that are launching throughout the year. And this way at a glance, you just don't kind of forget anything that you need to talk about for social media. Then let's scroll over to, and I'm just, there we go. The actual months of the year. So I kind of pre-filled this one ahead of this. I'm just going to make it, there we go, a little bit smaller. But each month is filled out, not with tax information, but I did January with some tax information, but each month is filled out with a whole bunch of different ideas already. Kind of generic ideas. I've got different holidays denoted in here so that you don't forget them. And again, they're color coded back to some of those, to the content pillars so that you don't forget what they are. And then the blue ones are the holidays. So anything in blue is that kind of like the first day of spring, International Women's Day. Just again, days you might want to denote for your social media. Certainly don't have to include them for your social media planning, but just so that you don't forget that they're there. So every month is already filled out with content ideas. Now, not all of them are going to work for your tax business, but the idea here is to, if any of them do spark some idea for you, great, leave those in. If they don't work for you, just delete them and then fill this in with your own ideas. So I'm going to walk you through January that I did a little bit of work on just as an example of how easy we can make this for your content planning. So January is already here. What's on everybody's mind? Goal setting, getting set up for success. Maybe, they know tax season is coming up and people are panicking a little bit because maybe 2021 was a challenging year for many businesses, and that can be good things or bad things for taxes, depending on how that goes. So it's really great already in the new year to be thinking about how we can kind of set your clients up for success. So when that end of fiscal year comes, they are ready. So you can see I put in some ideas here, like 3 things you need to know about taxes to start off 2022 right. So there might be things that someone as a small business owner could be doing now in January to avoid that crunch come, February, March, April, when everyone's panicking a little bit. The other thing I really like to do to really simplify content is pick like a theme or kind of a broader piece of content that you can break down and then do it the same every single week. So this could actually be the same type of graphic formatted exactly the same that you reuse every week with a different tax tip. So I called this Tax Tip Tuesday because I felt like it had a catchy name. This would be back to content pillar number 1 because it would answer a question. And maybe every Tuesday, there's probably 1,000 tax tips. Every Tuesday, you share one tiny tax tip, use the same graphic, and we call it Tax Tip Tuesday. And that's something then you can replicate every Tuesday for the whole year as a way to make, again, your content planning easier. We know it's Tuesday. We're going to use this graphic. We're going to have our quick tax tip on it. We're going to call it Tax Tip Tuesday. That's it. Now I've got, how many weeks are there? 52 pieces of content, already ideas for them for the whole year for all of the Tuesdays in the year. Now for pillar number 2, again, I know not everybody's the face of their brand with your franchise, but we can still talk, even if you're not a picture of you on there, totally fine. You can still on the caption talk about your passion for numbers. So you could sign off the caption from yourself or from a member of your team or from all of the staff at a certain franchise. But getting into things like why I love numbers. And, here at Mr. Taxes, our passion is really numbers, and here's why. And maybe some of you have personal stories where you were in a small business before, you really struggled with getting those taxes done, or you felt like you weren't getting the return you should have. And you thought there must be a better way, or there must be an easier way for small businesses to access this level of expertise without it breaking the bank. And hence, Mr. Taxes was born. I'm sure there's a lovely story like that, a few different stories like that. And that's where you can share this kind of information, because that's what people really relate to. It's like, oh yeah, I've been there and I worked with somebody who unfortunately maybe wasn't the best tax advice provider for my business. And I felt a little bit burned from that. And I'm looking for somebody I can know and trust. So when people can make that connection to go, oh, okay, Robert's been there too. He knows what it's like to feel frustrated or feel like you're not getting the right information. That's always going to be great content. And then of course, some sales content. So in this one, pillar number 3, I mean, I don't know how many clients you take on, but it is a good reminder to tell people like, hey, if you do have a limited capacity, hey, we've got, 5 client openings for February to be your complete tax service. Make sure you save one now. The very first step we want you to take is to book a free consult or, to book a time in our calendar to get started. So again, that's a great piece of sales content to remind people, hey, we do have limited availability. Tax season's coming up fast. Let's get talking today. Let's not wait till the end of the year. So then I put in a few other pieces of content here. How to prepare for year end. I put in things like, those myth busting things like, do those new clothes really count as a business expense? That was more for me personally because I have that question. So I was putting in that there, but those are some of the myths you can dispel, through your channel. Finally, customer testimonials. I'm sure you guys, as I saw on your website, have lots of wonderful customer testimonials. So let's make sure you're sharing those at least once a month on social media as well. People always want to hear from other people about how amazing your services are. So by sharing those on a regular basis, just a good reminder to your wider audience that, of course, you have worked with real people and they're super happy with your products and services. And then you can see I've got a whole bunch of other ideas in here. But the goal here, when I kind of zoom back out, if you look at from the funnel again, most of the content is green. So most of the content lines up with pillar number 1. FAQs. And then throughout the month, I've got 2 purple and 2 pink. So 2 purple being the passion behind me, sharing a story, opening up as a team. And then pillar number 3 being sales. So I've got a nice little mix of content there. And then I've got, I've still got those holidays in here as well, which you might post, you might not post about. Again, it's just going to depend on your brand. And again, I've given you 3 to 4, well, 4, 1 week has 5 apparently, but I've tried to go with 4 posts a week on average. 4 posts a week feels like a nice sweet spot where you're showing up regularly enough, but you're not going to burn yourself out. If you had to drop down to 3 posts, that would be okay, but I try not to drop down below 3 posts because at that point, you're just not quite showing up enough regularly. So if you could aim for 4 posts and do some batching of content, that's really where we're going to see that sweet spot and that success. So that's how you do a little bit of content planning. I'm going to show you one more tab here before I just kind of wrap up with some final takeaways and tips. This very last tab is called the Master Content Planner. Now, this is totally optional and you don't have to use a system like this. This is a good tool to use if you have maybe a team member or a VA who's managing your social media for your channel and you need kind of just a way to collaborate really easily. I have used this with various clients where it's really simple. You put in the image that can get approved. Here's the caption, here's the hashtags, and then you can denote if it's ready for approval or if there's any other feedback here. So again, this is an optional system to use. If you have something you're using in place, definitely stick with that. But if you're looking for a tool to work collaboratively with somebody, it's nice because you can be in here live editing things, you can leave comments, and of course, it's all updated in real time. And then once it's changed to approved, of course, that person can go and schedule that content on your behalf. So that's the content calendar. I know there's lots more I could talk about, but I do want to stay on time. And like I said, you will get the link to download this so that you can dive into it yourself. I'm just going to flip back over to my slides now, and we'll just kind of recap what I talked about there. So ultimately, how do you plan a month of content at a time? Because that's what I would love for you to be able to do. The first thing you can do is start with any high-level dates. Of course, in January, setting up for success, any new launches or programs like that. But anything that has a specific date, start with that first in your content calendar. Then think about all of the supporting content you need. What does your audience need to know and know about you before they can work with you? How do you work through or overcome those objections? And then, of course, what else do you need to share? How else can you spend this month connecting with people? How can they trust you? Or just other general business updates that you might want to plop in as well for your month of content. And so my last pro tips are, again, like I said, aim to post 3 to 5 times a week. There's going to be a sweet spot, and sometimes it might be more and sometimes it might be less. Certainly during those busy, leading up to tax season, you might want to be posting 5-6 times a week so you're staying top of mind. And then after in the summer when things are a bit quieter, you might drop down to 3 posts a week. While I do recommend using a tool to schedule content for peace of mind, even if you're scheduling your content in advance, I always say that you should check your post when it goes live, just in case there was a glitch or a typo, or because if there are some amazing questions and comments coming in, I do want you to be able to respond to those in a timely manner. It is great to respond to all comments. Now, you don't need to do this live. You don't need to be on your phone all day. No one has time for that. I typically batch mine. I'll respond to the questions and comments that come in kind of within the first 15 to 30 minutes right away. And then I'll check again at the end of the day and do kind of another batch then. And then again, just kind of leaving up with why I prefer people to schedule their content in advance. Of course, check in daily. Things are changing all the time, and you want to make sure that your content, of course, is still relevant for what your audience is going to need. Okay, I think I'm ending up my time here, so I'll just leave you with a few other ways to work with me. If you struggle with writing captions, I have another caption tool. It's another Google Doc that already has pre-written captions for you in there. I will share all those links as well, and it comes with some other training also about how to write captions, and it kind of links into the content calendar that you would get. So it all lines up together really nicely to give you some plug and play caption tools. And finally, I have a group coaching program coming up. An early bird offer actually goes till Friday. I only have 3 spots left in it, but if you are looking to kind of level up your social media in 2022, I would love to chat with you as soon as possible. While I do just have a few spots left. This is my signature group coaching program that I run a couple of times a year. And if you're interested, I would love to have you in there. And then, of course, yes, I do work with people one-on-one as well. So if you would rather work with me in a one-on-one capacity, we could certainly chat about strategies for your content and, of course, content planning. So that is it for me. If you like what you saw here, please follow me on Instagram at Mountaintop Consulting. I share tips, 3 to 5 days a week, usually a little bit more than that. And when you grab the free content calendar, you'll be on my email list where I email only about once a week, and you'll get some fresh tips from there as well. So I think that's my time there. How are we doing? Did I stay on time?
Way ahead of time.
Okay.
What are we going to do for a half hour now, Jess?
I've got more I can talk about. I usually go way over, so I was very mindful of my time today.
I'm just going to share. Let me see here if I can share my screen.
Yeah, awesome. I think I turned my screen sharing off there.
So here we go. Here's our screen. Here's our marketing folder. So what we've done is created, we took your advice. We already started on the tax tips, but we created a folder about. So these are the slides about us. And then the call to action. We put a call to action in every one of our posts, or Alicia and Paige do. That's our marketing team. But I'll just show you what they did, for example, on the tax tips. Let me find them here. We created 4 templates.
I love it.
And then we created 52 tax tips.
You guys are already ahead of the game. I love where you're going.
We did that in a spreadsheet, and we made them 140 characters or less for obvious reasons. Because the marketing side of every business, I believe there's a little bit of a disconnect. And I made the example, to our marketing team. I said, imagine if I was a marketing person that went into a lipstick company. I don't know anything personally about lipstick. It's just what I learned and know. But we in the office created the tax tips, and the marketing team just created the templates. And we put 52 together, and I'll just randomly pick one. And there we go. Perfect. So we just created the tips, call to action with a QR code, and that's what we've done. Jesse, I don't know. Jesse's done a lot of similar stuff. What has Jesse done? Level to the next level.
Jennifer, I love the organization in all of your whole presentation. That was really good. I learned a few things and was taking some notes as you were talking, so thank you. And when it comes to content creation and putting content out there and building your brand and generating sales and all that kind of stuff, you do have to be strategic. And you do have to plan it out, and you do have to really think about what kind of content you're putting out there for your viewers. Is it relevant? Is it going to elevate people? Is it going to inspire them? Is it going to educate them? Is it going to entertain them, right? All of these different factors go into play. One of the biggest things that I think in content creation and just building your offer and whatever it is that you're providing and serving people with is you need to put content out there that's relevant to what your audience truly needs at that moment, right? I think it was Henry Ford one time said, he went to all of his customers and said, what is it that you guys want? What do you need? And they all said a faster horse. But what they didn't realize was that he was going to give them not a faster horse. He was going to give them what they actually needed, which was a car. But this was so far beyond what they could even think about, because it was all just in his brain at that time, that it just, it revolutionized an entire industry. And so when you're building content and presenting your offer, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is provide what your ideal customer needs, not what they think they want. And sometimes you might surprise them.
Yeah. And I think for Instagram too, it's that balance between, I have a post coming out, like information and entertainment, right? And people log on to Instagram for primarily entertainment, but if we can inform them a little bit along the way for that infotainment, that's kind of the sweet spot. Like, how do I get a tip across in a way that is a little bit entertaining, in a way it's informational, but sometimes there's some entertainment to it as well. And the entertainment doesn't mean, my clients always panic. I'm like, you don't have to sing and dance. That's not what I'm getting at here. But there are ways to be light about it, right? There's ways to kind of make fun of yourself. In fact, all of my best content for me is when I'm kind of making fun of, not myself, but I'm kind of making fun of the industry, or I'm saying how challenging it is, or I'm just saying that, like, I get it. I know how frustrating social media can be. And that's what connects. So people go, okay, she does understand my pain. I want to work with somebody who understands my pain. And so that's where, for you guys, sharing those stories of like, I've also made mistakes, or like I've worked with previous to this, like that's where I had these challenges before, and I've had those frustrations, and I didn't keep all my receipts. And if your own office isn't always as organized, or you used to have a shoebox with all your receipts crumpled up, it's like, that's the content. People go, okay, they get me. So when I walk into your office with my shoebox of crumpled up receipts, I don't have to feel embarrassed, because they totally understand that that's how a lot of business owners work.
That's great. We really like the content, the organization of it, because we are accountants, of course, and we like things.
I know you guys like things lined up.
But I saw a great tip. I wish I could remember the fellow's name, but I tuned into a webinar when I was just getting going about 12 years ago, and he was talking about Twitter tips, how to come up with a tip for every day of the month. And he said you come up with 4 main categories. For example, tax filing software. Another one is tax filing deadlines. Come up with 4 main categories. And then for each category, for example, tax filing software, we did a post about, there's 12 different types of 12 different companies that provide e-file licensed tax software. So we just did one post about 12 companies. So there's 12 posts automatically.
There's 12 posts. And then for each of those companies, you probably could break it down even more, or you could probably do pros and cons between the top 3. So even with that, you could still even break that down further if you really wanted to get more niche on it.
People are wondering how to, and especially for affiliate marketers, because this is an affiliate marketing webinar. A lot of affiliate marketers tune in. They have trouble coming up. They come up with the first 5 or 6 tips, and then they're, wow, how do I come up with 25 more for the month? So it's a matter of planning, and I really like your spreadsheet. We actually created that spreadsheet, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and we actually did a character count field in the formula so that we could keep it under 140 characters. And then we copied that. We did that for our insurance brokerage. We did the exact same thing for the investment brokerage. And then with your advice on the last webinar, the same advice that listeners got today, we did an about us. So we're coming up, they say, one tip for every year of my life, one thing about Mr. Taxes for every year of my life. So my daughter is actually on the marketing team, Alicia, and she said, yeah, we can come up with all the baby pictures. And I said, but I'm older than 52. She goes, we'll tack on a few bonus years.
Perfect. I love it. And the other piece, I didn't get in here today because it could go on forever, is you can also repurpose content. So look back at last year's content in 2021 and see what performed the best. You can reshare that content. People get very nervous when I tell them this, and I'm like, no, no one remembers. We don't have long memories for that kind of stuff. So I would look back, it's January, look back at last year. And for those kind of key timely pieces of content about tax season and RSPs and all of those pieces, you can reshare them verbatim again, or you can take the same concept and refresh it slightly. If there is a new update for 2022 or some information that's changed, you could update the graphics slightly or update the caption slightly, but we don't need to be recreating the wheel every single day of our lives. So it's a good time for you and your marketing team to go back and go, what were the best posts, or what kind of hit the mark the most with our audience, and just reschedule those for 2022.
That's awesome advice. And another thing that we did, we've taken a page out of Jesse's playbook, and we've become an affiliate marketing company. Not a network marketing or multi-level marketing, but an affiliate marketing. So we have just shy of 70 affiliates now that have signed up with our program. And we created these posts, the QR code in our, I don't think we call them ads, just posts, the templates. We've actually put the word out to our affiliate marketers that they can repurpose all of this content as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have 70 plus affiliate marketers, and the bonus there is the affiliate marketers that are reposting our content have an affiliate code with us, and they receive 20% commission on every new client for the first year of business. So that's the affiliate marketing world in a nutshell, but taking everything out of your playbook and, the stuff we've learned from Brittany, and we didn't come out of accounting program learning about marketing.
No, I didn't learn about accounting in my marketing program. See, so
you don't want to. You don't really want to. We'll jump back into our slides and we'll finish up, allow people to ask some questions. Keeping it on the light side with tax. Don't bug me unless I can claim you as a deduction. I love this line because I use it around the office often. I seen this a couple of years ago, and we tell our team, don't come and bug me every 2 minutes when you have a question. When you got 20 questions, then put them on a list, then come see me. We can get them all done at once. But I like this one better because it's tax deductible. You got to squeeze everything in that you can. And again, our affiliate program, here's where you want to go if you want to become an affiliate. Simple link. Alicia will get this link in the chat area, but we're the side hustle for your side hustle. So affiliate marketers have their main game or their main product or something they're passionate about. All of the juice companies. I always go back to my mother's network marketing companies, Avon, Tupperware, Watkins, if you go way, way back. But they're all affiliate marketing. There's benefits to affiliate marketing. You can drive sales without putting out a big marketing budget. So it's something you may want to look into. And if you're really looking at getting into affiliate marketing, you want to reach out to Jesse. We're not the experts. We just host this because, again, we're the side hustle for your side hustle, because one of the main pitches for most affiliate marketing companies is the ability to become self-employed and reduce your taxes. But a lot of them cannot articulate it. And that's how we got involved with a lot of network marketing, affiliate marketing companies. Okay. How many pages in the Income Tax Act? Too many. So this is just a sample of one of the posts that we're putting out daily. So we're repurposing all of the previous posts in the year each day. And then each week we're launching one of the new tips or quotes, etc., in the newsletter that comes out every Monday. So that's something you can sign up for and watch for. That's just one of the things we're doing. We talked about the events already. I know we get a lot of questions, a lot of them from our team, actually. One of the big hooks for us, the call to action, is the Dollar Tax Club. People can get in for $1 to get their first 1 hour consultation for $1. Where else can you hire an accountant for $1? And then there's all kinds of discounts inside on your first year of tax filing with us. So that's our main call to action. Free tax review included with that $1 membership, and Q&A. I'm going to go through the questions. I'm not sure if you can see them, Jen, but Jess, it's your chance to pick her brain.
It all makes sense, and it's all very relevant to this industry. And I think the biggest thing that anyone should be walking away with is schedule your content, make a plan for it, because at the end of the day, we all have busy lives. A lot of us have kids. A lot of us have things that we're doing on a daily basis. And one of the biggest excuses that I hear from people in this industry is just, I don't have time to put a post out today. I don't have time to, create something. I don't have time to get into that creative mode. And one of the things that we always focus on teaching our students in our membership is, when you do sit down to create content, batch it, create it, put it all together, build a month, like Jen was saying earlier, put a month together so that you don't have to spend, because let's just be honest, it can take, 20 minutes to just get the creativity flowing each time that you need to get something out there. So once you get that going, you might as well ride it out as long as you can and build as much as you can all in one shot, so that it's not this big daunting task that you don't really look forward to every single day. Schedule a time in your week. Maybe you do one week at a time. Maybe you do a month at a time. Maybe you do what Mr. Taxes and his team does, and you put a whole year of content together at one time. However you do it, just schedule it out, put it in your schedule, map it out, and batch it, because I promise you, that's the easiest way to do it.
And Jen, you talked about scheduling content. What are some of the software programs for that? I know there's Hootsuite, and we discovered one, but what are some of the others?
Yeah, so the main one that people can use, because it's free, so I like to recommend it, is so Facebook itself allows you to schedule to both Facebook and Instagram through Facebook Business Suite. So if you have a Facebook business page, you already have access to this, and it's free. So I like that one from a cost perspective, and you can schedule to both platforms at the same time. So if you're also updating a business page on Facebook, you can do that one as well. I don't love it for all of its features, but it's certainly fast and easy and effective to use. If you're a bit more of a visual planner, I'm someone who likes to kind of map out the visuals, and maybe you've got a certain grid style you're looking for on Instagram specifically, then the tool I like to use for that is called Later, just later.com. They also have a free plan, and then they have a pro plan, so you can kind of decide on what features you need. The free plan might be enough for what you need as well. That one's a little bit more, for me at least, intuitive, just the way it's a little bit more drag and drop. And it kind of feels like how we work with a lot of tools now. You just drag and drop the content in, and it allows you to customize the caption. So let's say you're putting out that one post on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and you want the same post, but of course we're going to modify the captions for Twitter versus Instagram. You know, they're going to be different lengths and things like that. You can schedule the post once, but you can make those modifications to the caption. You can hit schedule, and then boom, you're done. It all goes out to those channels at the same time. So those are the two I typically recommend. There are dozens more scheduling tools with all kinds of features, but for somebody just starting out, I'd say take a look at Facebook Business Suite just because it already exists and you have access to it, and then try out later.com on the free trial and see which one you might prefer.
I know we use Constant Contact for our mail campaigns, and Constant Contact has a scheduler for social media. It allows you up to a dozen different social media platforms. So we post on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and one more. I don't know them all. New one every minute. But we just realized that because when we were posting and it's something we didn't even realize that it's included, because we were thinking of looking at Later or Hootsuite, but it's included. So take a look at your existing mail campaign, because I know we looked at the other one. So MailChimp, I know, has a feature. So if you're already paying for a platform, use all the features in it.
Yeah, Canva also now allows you to schedule as well. I haven't actually scheduled content through Canva, but I know Canva, if you're designing those graphics in Canva, for example, you can schedule those to Instagram. So just like you said, you might be using a tool that already has schedules built in. And I feel like everyone has a scheduling tool now. So you could even use that tool. And I believe that links to most of the channels. I'm not sure if it does all of them, but certainly it would do Instagram.
Excellent. Jesse, any tools of choice for next level marketing?
No, I mean, the ones that we use were already listed. I don't think you need to go out there and reinvent the wheel or anything. Just like Jennifer was saying, use stuff that already exists, and it's easy and it fits what you specifically need. Don't go out there and spend a ton of money on something that you don't necessarily need when you might already have a service that does it. So look into it.
And I think it's simple. When you look at everything overall and you're going to watching all these webinars and all the online tutorials, it becomes overwhelming. But I think the easiest way to get started is just to start, get set up on at least one social media channel. I'm just saying this for the listeners who might be watching the replay, etc. Get focused or comfortable on one social media channel, learn all the features, and you don't have to learn design or images. It's just a matter of taking an image that you're allowed to share offline or a photo, as simple as that, and putting text in the comment section, put a link to your website, and just get in the habit of doing it daily. And then you can start implementing all the things that Jennifer's done and Jesse's done over the years and become a professional. Yeah,
one thing at a time. Everyone's got to start somewhere, right? You're not supposed to be an expert out of the gate, but if you don't start, you won't get any better.
That's awesome. So what's up next? Our next guest is Rafael Wadeko. Rafael's coming on next week to talk about another tool for affiliate marketing. Rafael's going to talk about his tool of choice. We'll save that surprise for next week. But his tool allows you to harvest leads from LinkedIn and Facebook. And it's a new software that's out there that I'm sure they have API set up with LinkedIn and Facebook, and I'm sure Instagram as well, because they're connected. But this software allows you to build massive lists. If you're in the social marketing or affiliate marketing world, you're going to want to tune into next week's webinar with Rafael Wadeko. And again, if you like what you saw today and you like some of Jennifer's tips, remember her download link is in the chat section. We'll make sure and send that out to the email that goes out with everybody in the next newsletter. Jen, thanks a million for being on. Thanks for all the tips.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you. It was wonderful to be here.
And Jesse, what do you think to kick off 2022?
I think it was good. I think that Jennifer nailed it, and thank you. I learned a lot.
Yeah, and remember the replay link is in the is going to be in the email that comes out to you. So share it with your friends, family, affiliates, colleagues. Jesse actually got the link from our last webinar of 2021 with his business partner, and they're going to be repurposing that video. So feel free to share. It is live. It is on the internet, so it's public domain. Feel free, but make sure and give us credits if you're repurposing any of the video or content. And again, download Jennifer's link for the content that she shared today with us. that's it for our first webinar of 2022. Thanks a million, everyone, for being on.
Thanks again for having me.
We'll finish it off with, we always start it off with a little video and finish it off with the video. This is something actually my son put together, the video and the music. So we'll finish it off with the Mr. Tax's Money jingle. We'll see everybody next week.
See you later, everyone.